After staggering back to her ward, Dahlia felt as if her soul had left her body. She had a dead expression on her face, and her eyes were dull. She didn't realize that her bandaged hand was still dripping with blood. She remembered Dustin's disappointed gaze on her before he left, and it felt like a knife that kept stabbing at her heart. She knew that the two of them had grown further and further apart. In the past, she had always been career-oriented, as she was determined to carve her own path, which is why she ignored and sacrificed many things along the way. However, since the day of their divorce, she slowly started to realize something. It turns out that there are things in life that were more important than one's career. However, it was a shame that she only realized this now. "Honey, I just heard that," Florence said as she burst into the room upon seeing Dahlia enter inside moments before. "I just heard that it was that Rhys kid who was the one who laid hands on Ms. Hummer and used her life as bait to get the Hummer family to apologize to us. He was merely using underhanded tactics the entire time." "That's right. This Dustin guy, to make a name for himself, committed such heinous and shameless acts without a care for his reputation at all," James echoed. Initially, they were shocked to find out that Dustin was the one who had helped them behind the scenes, but after digging for more details, they realized that it wasn't that the Hummers were scared of Dustin, but that it was Dustin who used despicable means to get them to do what he wanted, which was why they came and apologized in person. So although it seemed as though he was a force to be reckoned with, in reality, he had merely backed them into a corner. "Mom, can you all just leave, please? I just want to be alone for now," Dahlia responded flatly. She didn't even flinch at the news. "Honey, even if we've misunderstood Dustin, so what? The matter still stands that he's the one who's at fault here. He was just making up for his mistakes. We don't owe him anything." Florence continued. "I'm tired, Mom. I just want to rest now. Please go outside," Dahlia requested again. "But honey," Florence whined. "Just leave me alone," Dahlia yelled sternly. Seeing the scowl on her face, Florence said nothing more and proceeded to usher everyone out of the room. Who would have thought that the biggest contributor to the matter would be Dustin, while the person who surprised us the most was Mr. Laney. Fucking big shots. To think we let him scare us like that. It's already a good thing that we didn't disturb him for anything. And as for Matt, I suspect that he's so blinded by love for Dahlia that, to win her over, he resorted to trickery and lies, Florence explained. "If you ask me, a man like this who risked his life for love and even put his reputation on the line is truly worth giving yourself to for life. All of you should learn from him from now on." After their session of mental gymnastics, everyone turned from discussing how despicable Matt was to putting him on a pedestal instead. But the thing was, many of them seemed to agree with this. Back inside the ward, Dahlia sat frozen on the bed with an empty gaze for a long time. She had no idea how much time had passed since the first tear started dripping down her face and when her shoulders started shaking profusely. Finally, not able to withhold her emotions anymore, she cradled her head between her knees and violently broke down in tears. She didn't shed a tear when the company was in danger. She shed no tears when somebody brutally humiliated her. She also didn't cry when she was beaten up or tortured in a variety of ways. This was the first time she had ever cried this hard and this heartbreakingly. Over at the Hummer Villa, Tina was sitting in her wheelchair with a look of resignation and anger. "Dad! The Hummers have never suffered such great humiliation before. You must avenge me no matter what," she ordered with gritted teeth. "Of course, we have to take our revenge, but you shouldn't underestimate this punk either. Thus, we must be fully prepared if he stirs up havoc again," Edwin said seriously. He definitely wouldn't let anyone who dared to lay a finger on the Hummers go that easily. "Isn't Mr. Lawson proficient in mystic arts? Why don't we just have him use the most powerful mystic arts on Dustin so that he gets tortured half to death?" Tina suggested, her voice full of resentment. "It's no use. Not only is he a powerful martial artist, but he's also equally proficient in poison. He even managed to break the venomous mystic arts I used on the Harmons, so I'm afraid I can't do anything toward him at the moment." Fletcher, who was standing at a corner, answered. "Then what should we do? If we don't cut him into pieces, I don't think my hatred toward him is ever going to subside." Tina shouted with a fierce gaze. "There's no need to rush things. Just hold it in for a few more days. I've already informed your brother about this matter. After he clears customs in a few days, he'll make his return to Swinton, and that's when he'll exact your revenge for you. When that time comes, I doubt if the punk can make any waves, no matter how strong he is," Edwin said as he narrowed his eyes. What he was most proud of in his life was not his status as the richest man in Swinton, but rather the fact that he was the father of an excellent individual named Joshua Hummer. Joshua grew up practicing martial arts and was so talented that at the age of 15, he was able to defeat all of his challengers in the entirety of Swinton. When he was 18, he had the honor of joining Boulder Thorn and was trained under Clement Lincoln. Now at the age of 25, he was already in the top ranks and dubbed to have a promising future. Not to mention that he was also known as one of the top 10 young martial arts masters in the province. In no time, he was even expected to surpass Tyler, who was regarded as a natural talent. Perfect. Then, I will let Dustin live for a few more days. Once brother returns, I will make sure he'll be begging for his life once I'm done with him. Tina laughed maniacally. To Tina, her brother was a god who had the power to do anything for her. No matter how difficult the task was, he could get it done as if it was a walk in the park. Thus, wouldn't it be a breeze to deal with a mere martial artist this time around? Sir Hummer, since Joshua is scheduled to return, then we shouldn't fear Dustin anymore. I propose that our main target now be the Harmon family instead. The production of Eternamax is being rushed and is taking shape now, so now should be the ideal time for us to launch our attack. Mr. Lawson suggested. Good idea. Schedule a press conference to announce our new pill in 3 days then. Since Natasha is willing to give her face away, I'll make sure she never recovers from this, Edwin proclaimed as he balled up one of his hands into a fist. He had balled it up so hard that one could hear his finger bones crackle. At best, Dustin was just a stumbling block, while Natasha was a thorn in his side. He must get rid of both of them as soon as possible.